Hi, I'm Cindy Hathaway from Fons and Porter, and I'm going to do a Sew Easy lesson for you today on crazy pieced blocks. And the one I have in front of me is a fun one, and it actually starts with a crazy triangle and then cut several pieces that will be just strips of fabric, and I'll show you how to make them a little wonky. The first thing that you're going to need is a piece of muslin so that you have a basis to build from. It's your foundation that you're going to build this block on. And before we put any on there, I want to bring this back and show you that the centerpiece, that's what we're going to cut first. I have a piece of black fabric with some cute little hearts on it. And I'm just going to whack off a triangle. It doesn't matter where you start, how big it is. Just whack off a triangle. And then you can go back and cut another triangle of a different size if you wish to do that. The other fabrics that we'll use, just go to your scrap box, pull out any fabrics. If you have short pieces, long pieces, cut them into strips. I have a piece here that hasn't been cut, and I'll show you how to do that quickly. Let's line up let's get these out of the way for the camera to be able to focus on this. We're just going to line up the ruler on the bottom. You have a line here to line it up. Cut a piece. They're going to be different widths, so you can decide for each color, or depending on how much scrap you have of it, the strip that you want to use. If it's not exactly straight, that's not a major issue either. You'll see how this works. We're going to start off placing a triangle in the center. And what I like to do is, this is a fabric glue pen from Fons and Porter. Just put a little bit on. It's blue, it dries clear, and it washes out. So I'm going to start with my triangle just in the center. I'm going to pick a piece of fabric and lay it on the side, but you don't have to match it up with this line, and that's what gives you the wonkiness. So I can start off like this. I'm going to stitch 1/4 of an inch in from this side that I have just put on there. So we're going to go over to the sewing machine and stitch a 1/4 inch seam. And you don't have to go the whole length of your fabric. You just have to make sure that you stitch beyond that triangle. Then what I like to do to make this even for you is fold your fabric back, your foundation fabric, and then you can square this off, because you don't want big chunks of fabric still in there in your block. So go 1/4 of an inch right on your sewing line and trim off any excess fabric that you have. From there, you want to open this up. You're going to finger press. Some people, that's all they do when they do their foundation like this. I tend to give it just a little shot on the iron, with the iron. And then you're ready for the next piece. And you want to continue to go around clockwise. I only need a piece about that long. I can cut off my selvage and just cut off a piece that will work for me. No sense having all of it in the way there. Now we have a piece that's going to work nicely for this. It goes all the way across both of these fabrics, right sides together, and maybe you want to turn it just a little bit. Just adds a little more interest to your wonky block that you're doing. Make sure that when you stitch, you're going to start over here so that you catch your second fabric in as well as your first fabric. Don't start too close in and not leave yourself room to trim. So we're done with that one. And it's okay to go beyond, because once you put your next piece on, if you stitch beyond this, you're going to be able to square it off anyway. You're going to cut it and square it off. So once again, fold it on your stitching line and line up your ruler. Cut off any excess pieces that you have. And when you do that, when you fold it under, make sure that you get your muslin all the way under. One time I didn't, and I cut a hole in it, which is not a big deal, but it can make it so your square gets out of whack, and you really don't want that. So then again, you would press that and just continue around. And you can see how at some points this fabric's going to be wider. Let me put this out here. It's a little bit wider down here than it will end up here. And that's what you might notice on there. I have some other ones that are in progression here that I wanted to show you. Here's one that's a few more stages. And you just keep building and building until you can complete your whole block. Once you've covered, every bit of the muslin is covered, then you can stop. See, the front is, they're not all nailed down there, but you've got enough for your whole block, so then you're going to square up your block. And your pattern will, wherever you use this, your pattern will tell you the size that you want. And I'm going to come in just a little bit, make sure that I'm even there. Lay your ruler down so that you line up your line across the bottom. Even up this side. Turn it again. Line up your ruler on the bottom. Whoops, got to move up a little bit so we can, you want to make sure that you catch all your fabric when you're doing this. You're going to cut that strip. And if I want this to be a certain width, which I think I should do, I'd like to pull in another ruler and say I want this 11 inches. So I line up the 11-inch there. On this side, I mark, leave it, line up a mark down here so that you're square. Cut off your excess. Let's just check, make sure that we have 11 here. And very good. So now you have your, in this case, it's 11-inch block. And it can be so much fun. Just pull out all those scraps and put them together, and you wind up with a beautiful looking block. Thank you so much for joining me for this Sew Easy lesson today. And I hope you check out additional Sew Easy lessons on fonsandporter.com. Happy quilting!